So Priscilla is the half vampire princess from Demonshire, and unfortunately for her story, in order for you to unlock the whole thing, you need to finish World 14, which is impossible at the point of editing this video. So in today's video, there won't be any story per se for her. We will wait until the actual release of the whole World 14 to do a makeup for her if there's a demand for it. So do let me know down in the comment section down below if you guys want to hear me talk about her stories within the World 14 lore itself. But without further ado, let us go through in today's video on how worthy is Priscilla potentially. Priscilla's stats ranking based on level 86 heroes are 41st in terms of attack, 1st in terms of HP, and 6th in terms of defense. So as we all can see, she has a very beefy defensive stat, and on top of that, she has a party buff of plus 40% shield increase on battle start with a skill damage plus 12%, as well as a weapon skill regen speed plus 4%. So she's a very tanky unit which is able to use her weapon skills pretty easily. So Priscilla's normal attack allows her to fire off 2 energy waves followed by multiple energy balls. So the energy waves are not able to pass through terrains but are able to pass through walls, whereas the energy balls works like Nari's attack, is able to pass through walls as well as terrains. So if you hit your opponent multiple times, if I'm not wrong about 6 or 7 hits, you will charge up your secondary skill known as Unleashed. So Unleashed awakens her dormant powers to transform into an angel or vampire with wings, and her attack changes while being unleashed. So this allows her to fire a lot quicker under the unleashed state, and she's able to fire energy beams towards the end of the attack. So after firing the 2 beams and then the energy balls, she'll fire a laser beam at the target. So this unleashed form also increases her movement speed by 10%. Other than providing her with the change in attack animation, the change in movement speed, it also allows her to heal 10% of her HP whenever she uses her Unleashed ability. So this ability is actually covered in her special ability, which I'll talk about later. And her chain skill Destruction is a very straightforward laser beam skill, which allows her to do 420% DPS damage. However, do take note that there's a short delay before the actual tick of the skill itself, because once you press the chain skill, she will fire off a laser and it will cover the floor in the straight line where the target is and then apply the damage tick. So if you are somebody who likes to hold your chain skill, do take note of the timing. If not, your opponent can escape from the chain skill pretty easily. Like I mentioned earlier, her special ability Havoc recovers 10% of her HP whenever she uses her Unleashed ability. At the same time, it also provides her with a 25% damage increase as well as a 25% damage reduction, making her a really good unit in terms of taking damage as well as dealing damage all at the same time. And her exclusive weapon Eclipse looks totally like a tomato in her hand, but the thing is, this weapon is really powerful because number one, it is a super powerful weapon skill, Scarlet Impact, which has a 250% DPS with a cooldown of 9 seconds. So why do I say that this skill is powerful? This skill is instant, so the moment it actually locks onto the target and you press the weapon skill itself, it immediately uses the skill on the target spot, and then this will allow you to have a chain advantage over a lot of the other existing heroes in the pool right now, because units such as Future Princess, units such as Lilith, they have a bit of casting animation, whereas Scarlet Impact is an immediate weapon skill. So let's say if both of you guys cast your skill at the same time, you can actually cancel units with really long skill animations. And for the special ability of the exclusive weapon, it allows her to do a little bit more damage when she's in her Unleashed form, as well as reduce the enemy's attack by 25% for 2 seconds whenever she hits the enemy in the Unleashed form. So this means that Priscilla will require her weapon skill to make her perform at full potential, because the weapon provides her with the ability to boost her Unleashed skills capabilities. Now, in terms of the Colosseum ranking, there isn't a lot of Priscilla, so you can actually compare Priscilla to Future Princess because the HP buff as well as the 40% shield buff can be seen roughly as the same thing. However, one thing to take note of is that shield buff is actually counted by this merchandise known as Statue of Bravery, which is a very common merchandise amongst a lot of players because they use it for raid, they use it to get a lot of damage, and it's a really good counter for for shield plus 40%, because your HP will always be above the 40% threshold, so the 20% damage bonus coming out from the merchandise is a major counter to this party buff. So in most cases, I did rather use a HP plus 40% over the shield, because the shield gives SSB a very long-term boost, whereas the HP will actually drop off eventually and SSB won't be as good. Another thing to take note of is that Priscilla is a very selfish unit. Her whole kit itself doesn't really benefit the team. She's very strong individually, she deals a lot of damage, she's able to tank really well, and she's able to like sustain as well because she has a heal in her unleashed form and she's able to attack quickly. However, she does not provide the heal, the taunt, the tankiness that Future Princess can provide for the team. So in most cases, I did rather choose Future Princess over Priscilla, but she's definitely usable in the Colosseum if you can form a team around her. Another issue with Priscilla is that she does not synergize with Noxia really well, because Noxia Spirit is calculated based on the stats that Noxia receive, but the thing is the Spirit will not receive the shield that is put on the Noxia, which makes the tankiness of Noxia within Colosseum drop quite a bit. So that's why I think you are seeing way less Priscilla here, because of the above mentioned reasons. So in terms of the arena side, I'll say that Priscilla is definitely a top tier unit, because she's a very strong individual unit, a range unit which is decently tanky, which deals decent damage, applies attack reduction, which is not common, so you don't really gear yourself for attack reduction, and her chain skill is immediate, so she will have an advantage over certain units, and everything paired together make her a really strong standalone unit just from the kit itself. And if you look at the party buff, it's shield plus 40%, so you can pair her in multiple teams, namely triple tanks with Arena and Noxia, namely range setups with range crit pairs with her, as well as the defense plus range, right? So overall, you have a lot of flexibility in terms of building her, and she's a very powerful arena unit to behold. So do take note of her, she's gonna be meta in the arena once she's released. And without further ado, let me showcase some arena matches with me using her to let you guys see how she actually fares within the game mode itself. Let's go. Now, in terms of PvE discussions, her party buff is clearly not very good for raid because it does not boost the damage of your team, but I'll still rate her an S tier unit because the 40% shield that she provides resets on every battle. So this is really good in story mode because you fight through many different battles, and if you're a beginner to the game, she's gonna be a really useful unit in terms of story clearance. At the same time, the party buff is really good in the likes of Camazon as well as co-ops because, like I mentioned, it resets on every battle. So every battle it resets and you gain like a 40% shield on top of whatever HP you have. So it's insanely good there. And in terms of team building, she's pretty versatile as well because her party buff is a universal party buff and she deals decent damage. So you can slot her in almost any team and she will still work really well for you in terms of PvE contents. Below are some reasons to pull or invest in Half Vampire Priscilla. So, how worthy is Priscilla potentially? I'll say that she's definitely a top tier unit in terms of the PvP perspective. Like, she's got to be really good in Arena and decent in Colosseum if you do decide to use her. And overall, a good unit even within the PvE realm as well, because you can use her in story mode, Camazon, Orbital Lift, and a few other game modes which require you to fight multiple battles. At the same time, her transformation mechanic is the real transformation where she grows wing and has a fallen angel look. So if that's something that you like, then you will definitely enjoy using her. And who doesn't like some hot waifu in their hero collection? So that's pretty much it in today's How Worthy video. Do remember to like and subscribe in order to see more videos from the channel, and let me know down in the comment section below whether or not you will invest in Half Vampire Priscilla, and I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye guys!